a while and check it out for yourself. You could live in Israel for the rest of your life and never make Aliyah. There's many Jewish people who live there their whole life and they don't make Aliyah. What they do, well, first of all, you could do it by just renewing your passport, like a tourist visa. However, if religious Jews, what they do, they get a student visa and they'll learn a little bit in like every synagogue there has like a little yeshiva within it. And then you only have to renew your passport every year. There's no huge benefit of being a citizen of the state of Israel, with the exception that you can vote and you'll be a part of their healthcare system. By the way,
that's cool. So basically, like, you're recommending people to overstay their visas?
No, to renew their visas every 3 months or every 1 year. You could get a student visa that's yearly or a tourist visa that's every 3 months. The first time I ever went to Israel before I made Aliyah, I overstayed my visa and nobody cares. Nobody cares.
They only care when the Black Hebrews do it, which is crazy.
Oh, come on. Why are you making this up? How do you know that?
Don't you watch the videos where it's like they're trying to deport them sometimes?
The Black Hebrew, the ones in Dimona?
Yeah.
No, they're
foreign citizens.
They're accepted.
Not all of them got citizenship.
What's the criteria for the ones that they gave citizenship to?
You had to be affiliated with Ben Ami Ben Israel directly, like he had to vouch for you.
I'm sure he's passed away when they gave it to him.
Yeah, he's long dead. That's why it's kind of a problem.
I don't know.
Someone said it's trafe to steal land. That's not even true, right? Because Israel is allowed to do offensive wars to take land.
That's true.
So
That's not even true. King David expanded the borders of Israel into modern day Syria. So there's parts of Israel there's parts of Syria that you would only have to keep 1 day holiday from an Orthodox perspective. And there's parts of Israel proper, like Elat, which is on the southern tip, where because it wasn't Israel in biblical times, like it was never conquered by religious Israel, that you still have to keep a 2-day yontif, like a 2-day,
Exactly. And listen, what does it say in Maccabees? Let he who betrothed a virgin but did not lie with her, let he who planted a vineyard but did not enjoy it.
That's not in Maccabees, that's in the Torah.
No, that's not. That's in the Torah?
100%. It's 100%
in
the Torah. They're exempt from war.
Even better. It's in the Torah, and that's an offensive war. That's not a
I don't think that's an offensive war, by the way. So there's something called a Melchemet Mitzvah and a Melchemet Reshut. So when it's for self-defense, everybody's got to fight.
Exactly. So it is an offensive war.
Yeah. If it's only to expand your borders, that's when you could tell people, like, all right, all the cowards who don't want to fight don't have to fight.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So, Jack, I am Orthodox, although it's cringy to even identify as that. Most Orthodox Jews don't call themselves Orthodox unless they're like Baal Teshuvas or undercover Messianics or something. They'll just say I'm Jewish and I'm observant. That's it.
What about all these different like Hassidic cliques? Like it's all crazy. You got
some people are more cliquish than others, and the Jewish world is there to accommodate you.
Who are the most cliquish? Like the Bells? What is it? BELZ? What is it?
I mean, how do you know about Bells?
Come on, man.
Like Bells and Hasidim are not as popular as people. Bubba, Bells, Deja. There's many groups that most people don't know. Alexander. Are they cliquish? I think all Hasidic groups are cliquish, including Chabad.
It's not cliquish, I don't think.
There's two types of Chabad. There's Chabad for Chabad and Chabad for outsiders. So yeah, if you're Chabad on a university campus, your whole purpose there is to acquire or recruit secular Jews. But Chabad for Chabad, which is what you see in 770 in their headquarters in Brooklyn, they're for sure cliquish. They only marry into themselves. It's like another segment of Orthodoxy. I'm not saying when you're cliquish doesn't mean that they call everyone who's not Chabad a Gentile. They just only roll with Chabad.
Well, why didn't they elect like another guy, right? Because they had this long line of, okay, this is the Rebbe or whatever it is, Rebbe. Why did they just decide to stop it? Is it just because, this guy's Can't really replace him.
So, right, because they can't really replace him in the minds of the populace. There was one guy, his name is Chaim Dietsch, who took it upon himself to call himself, I guess in this case, what's that, the 8th Lubavitcher Rebbe, and had a following, but it wasn't big enough. The truth is, the Rebbe before this last Rebbe also didn't have children, or he didn't have any males. So, because this typically passes down the dynasty. So the 7th, like this last Rebbe, was his son-in-law. Yeah, I guess it probably would have been better if they continued it. Let
me ask you, out of all the Hasidic cliques, are any of them open to your, like, have you ever met a Hasidic guy, either in Israel or like U.S., told him what you do, and he was like, wow, that's a great idea?
The average Orthodox Jew that I tell what I do has no issue with what I do. It's only people, honestly, people on TikTok that are about shuvas. Most Orthodox Jews just don't care. They're like, okay. I mean, they know it's not against Jewish law. If you know Jewish law, you know proselytizing is not against Jewish law. If you know something. If you get your news and your theology from social media, that's when you start thinking, well, we don't proselytize, you bring me some bagels, bring me some lox. Like this weird cultural style Judaism that's not law-based. Most rabbis are like, okay, yeah, it's a waste of time, they'll tell you, but there's nothing wrong with it. Chabad, for some reason, they're so cliquish and that they only really dialogue with other Chabadniks regarding theology, that if you teach something that's contrary to Chabad, and proselytizing is contrary to Chabad, more than any other group because of the Tanya. The Tanya basically says that every convert is Jewish already. They're a Hebrew in some way coming back. So we have to be very vigilant on all the other Gentiles who are essentially inherently inferior and dangerous. So this is why they'll ask, why do you want to encourage anyone to become Jewish? The ones who want to become Jewish will come anyways, right? And like no matter the barriers you put in front of it. So this is why Chabad is so radical when it comes to attacking me, because it undermines their whole theology. Their whole theology is based on the idea that Jewish people have a special soul. They're connected to God. They're inherently special. That's the foundation of Chabad ideology. If I'm here just offering this to Gentiles, they'll be like, whoa, what are you talking about? They don't have a special soul. They don't have a Jewish mother. This is why Rabbi Littman, when he wants to attack me, his worst insult in his mind is to call me a Gentile. That's the worst, because they elevate Jewish blood and the Jewish identity to such an unhealthy level that they inherently believe that Gentiles are garbage.
Noah was a Gentile, Job is a Gentile.
Yeah, I mean, his mom is a Gentile. Anyways, that being said, that's good, and that's cool. I mean, my mom's a Gentile too.
That's right.
Give me a whoop whoop for Gentile moms.
And my mom's a Gentile too.
Not you. You're an Israelite, bro. Oh, you got a white mom. There you go. Oh, my bad.
That's right.
My bad. All right. That your Professor Yakub was working at like late in his.
That's Nation of Islam stuff.
Yeah. You believe this? That a guy invented white people in a laboratory?
Yeah, Yakub.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, but they believe it. You know what I mean? They actually believe it.
I know they say they believe it.
But that's some dumb crap. I'm just saying. It makes people feel good. And I understand. I don't compare what the Jewish people have gone through with what is essentially the fallout of the transatlantic slave trade. I think that blacks have suffered much more. It's my personal opinion. It doesn't change anything. And I think a lot of this is reactionary. Nation of Islam, Black Hebrew Israelites, Marcus Garvey, all of the above. It's just reactionary. There's a lot of pain and there's a lot of blame. And this is why they've invented black liberation theology like this. So it's a shame. Now, we could reverse it though. Yeah.
Let me ask you something. When you debate these Chabad people, why don't you just tell them that, like, hey, okay, you believe every convert gets a Jewish soul? Because I heard Manis Friedman say that he thinks what's the thing with the water?
The mikvah?
Mikvah.
Yeah.
The mikvah is like the womb. So if the mikvah is the womb, that
That's
means
sexy.
when they convert, they get the Jewish soul.
Yeah.
So then
So-
I don't see how that's like a.
Easy. This is easy. All they got to do is not recognize your conversion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that easy. Jeez.
Well, this guy said I wasn't Jewish even before he knew who converted me. So he's so convinced I'm not Jewish that it doesn't matter if I had a paper signed by the chief rabbi of Israel, he would be forced to say it's fake, because in his mind, a real Jew wouldn't talk or think like I do. I mean, they're just convinced. In terms of loving converts, all that goes out the window. Not that I want special treatment. I mean, I just want converts to be treated equal. But yeah, that's what they do. I mean, Chabad is notorious for always asking people, who converted you? Who converted you? They're notorious because they put so much emphasis on the Jewish soul that they're scared that someone who doesn't have a Jewish soul is let in and thus are in some way corrupt Israel. This is their thing. They're great in many areas and they're silly in other areas. What are you going to do? Everyone's a mixed bag. I mean, they do a lot of good too. All that outreach. I mean, I ask myself, because I do believe in outreach for people who happen to have Jewish mothers, but it almost washes itself out if they're just creating someone that I have to fight later. Because they indoctrinate. It's actually easier to bring someone who knows nothing about theology over to a kosher understanding of Torah Judaism than someone who grew up Chabad. Because once you grow up into a system that from when you were little, make no distinction between the Tanya and the Torah, how do you fix that? Right?
That's right.
At least a Christian has sola scriptura. Sola scriptura is a blessing, for people trying to, for Jews like me who try to convert them to Judaism, because they at least stick to the Bible. But if you have sola scriptura, but it includes the Zohar and the Arizal and the Tanya from when you were a little kid, they're like, of course I believe in God and His Word. Look at all this. Look at this huge bookshelf. Tikkun Zohar. This is all God's Word. How do you fix that? I mean, how do you fix that? So less is more from that perspective. This is one reason when Jews leave Judaism, religious Jews, Orthodox Jews leave Judaism, they fall from such a level that they never recover. Because there's so much to reprogram. And I met a lot of girls like this. I mean, girls who grew up in Beis Rachel, Beis Yaakov, and they just, you can't talk to them about Torah because they have such a sour taste in their mouth because of it, and there's just no fixing it. There's just nothing. They're always, all they see is the jerkiness. And don't be fooled by people on TikTok. This is something that no one talks about. Jews hate Jews. Israelis hate Israelis. They hate them. I ride with a motorcycle Israeli club called Rolling Thunder. Actually, if you guys are in South Florida, this Sunday is the big Yom Ha'atzmaut motorcycle parade.
Take a video of it.
Yeah, I mean, I put it up every year, and I interview Chabad always there putting on tefillin. I start ribbing them.
This is a Jewish motorcycle club?
Israeli motorcycle club called Rolling Thunder in South Florida. Rolling Thunder, look it up. Boaz Edry, Esri, and Tony Raz. Everybody knows the Rolling Thunder. And I remember that we were on a ride, and there was some homeless guy on the side of the highway, who needed a ride. So then I pull over, and I have my jacket on, my motorcycle. It says Rolling Thunder back, and I gave the guy a ride. And then they asked me, why'd you do that? And I'm like, well, the guy needed a ride. And they're like, oh, that's right, you're a convert. Because a Jew wouldn't have done that. These aren't religious Jews. These are secular Jews, by the way. Secular Jews dislike other Jews. It's like pushing a round peg into a square hole. Religious Jews don't like doing business with Jews. They don't like any. This is the reality. And it's because of that. This is why intermarriage in the Jewish world, it's quite impossible to fix. Someone who leaves Jewish life wants nothing to do with Jews, no matter how you repackage Judaism. And I'll tell them, look, what drove you away from Judaism in the beginning is not even part of halakha. They're like, it's so ingrained. They're so burned out. The idea that having someone like yell at you because you're sitting in their shul, like their chair and shul. These things don't happen in the Gentile world. Once Jews and Israelis get a taste of Gentile life, they never want to go back. When Israelis come to America, they never want to go back to Israel. This idea that, oh, they're dying to go back, get the heck. Guys, be very careful when you go to Israel. Girls are going to be hitting on you just to get that visa. Okay? Israelis are dying to leave Israel. This is a fact. The average Israeli, I mean, you know, like 9 out of 10 Israelis. Nobody wants to live in Israel. The only people really making Aliyah like are religious people, and they're going for
economy or something.
Well, yes, it's mainly the economy, but also they don't want to be in a country full of Jewish people. It's quite impossible to make money. Quite impossible. Everyone's ripping each other blind. The insurance. I was talking to someone that the insurance system doesn't exist in Israel like it exists here because they're so smart in like ripping each other off and, you know, with adjusters and all that, that there's no way to make money. Israel, it's extremely difficult to make money in Israel. The truth
you
is,
said it, not me, man.
no, I'm. This is why they dislike me. They're like, "Oh, can you ever say anything positive?" Yeah, this banner up here is positive. I mean, I'm trying to bring people to Judaism with all our problems, but I don't like people lying. Okay, I hate liars, which is weird that the people who are lying so much about Judaism are the ones who project it on me and say, "Well, he's not a rabbi, he's not Jewish." First of all, it would be so easy for me to say that I'm not a convert. Okay, I mean, I speak Jewish. I mean, I sound yeshivish. I mean, I sound like I know, you know. But the simple fact that I tell you I'm a convert means that why would I lie about that? You know, I mean, I have a Tudat Zilut, you know, I mean, like I am Israeli. Like, why would I lie? It's because, I mean, I have this addiction to truth, at least when it comes to religion. Every area of my other life, I could be a piece of crap. Don't trust me, right? Don't lend me your car because I'm going to make donuts on the street with it. When it comes to Torah, my midot are intact. Because I fear God. That's it. In every other area, okay, maybe God's not looking. When it comes to Torah, trust that I'm going to first tell the truth and then give my opinion. You know, doesn't matter on like what a Jewish person will tell me. You always make us look bad. If I don't make you look bad by definition, you will never improve. Okay?
Let me ask you something. What do you think of, you ever heard of Yitzhak of Akko?
Yeah.
And his interpretation of 7 days or 6 days?
I don't know much about him with the exception that he was the guy who disproved that the Zohar was written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because he's the one, the Rabbi Yitzhak of Akko was the guy who, after Moses de Leon died, so Moses de Leon is the guy who either wrote the Zohar, found the Zohar, regardless, it didn't exist on the scene till he was born. After he died, Rabbi Yitzhak of Akko went to his wife, to the widow of Rabbi Moshe de Leon, and offered her money to buy this manuscript that that Moshe de Leon claimed to have found, either in a cave. There's different stories. And then she admitted there is no manuscript. Okay, he basically wrote what was at that time already printed over and over again. Because he was trying to find the original. Now, it's not hearsay no more unless someone's going to claim that Rabbi Yitzhak of Akko was lying. So he said that the widow of Rabbi Moshe de Leon claimed that he wrote the Zohar, and that's his claim to fame. If it wasn't for that, I mean, what literary work did Rabbi Yitzhak of Akko put out? It says Rav Kapach was literally excommunicated because he.
What do you think of the Shapira scrolls? I think it's a forgery.
I don't know what that is. What is Shapiro? Oh, this is yeah. I mean, it's the Shapiro scroll. I think it's a.
Yeah, but this guy, I mean, he sold other things that were forgeries. So I just don't know why anyone would take it serious.
I remember a lot of these archaeologists in Israel. You can't trust them, especially the Israeli ones. There was this Israeli archaeologist who, man, I always mispronounce his word. He is
Ashkenazi as well.
It's not esophagus. Where's the thing where you put the bones in? Sarcophagus, right? Sarcophagus?
Yeah.
Well, there was an Israeli archaeologist who found one and carved the name Yeshua ben Yaakov or something or Joseph, right? And they went around and they found that it was a forgery. You know, you can't trust when it comes to religion. All these guys selling the coins and.
But that's exactly what this guy did. He found something like that, and he said, "This is the cave of Samson," but he misspelled Samson, so everyone knew it was a forgery.
Yeah, this is why I don't trust secular people saying anything about religion. Anything. The Anchor Bible, the documentary hypothesis. How can you be an atheist and be expected to not let your atheism, your leftism in some way creep in to belittle what you don't believe in? You know, so people quote like Bart Ehrman and all these guys. Look, if you're an atheist, you may be a great dancer, right? You may be a great lover, but keep your religious opinions to yourself, okay? In terms of Jewish history, I don't want to know it because you have an agenda.
Bias. You have bias.
Yeah, you don't want people to believe in God. You don't even want there to be a God if you're atheist in most cases because you don't want to be judged, right? And there are many, many religious archaeologists that I do trust, and I trust religious people over secular people. And I understand there are really crappy religious people, beautiful secular people, but vice versa. Overall, this is why I promote people being religious, because I would trust a religious person over a secular person. But not with the state of Israel, by the way. I mean, I
just want to say one last thing about like arguments to prove God exists. You got to watch Jay Dyer. I don't know if you've heard of him, but Jay Dyer and his tag argument, TAG. It's game changer.
Tell me. Let me help me out.
Transcendental argument. Just look up Jay Dyer and then tag argument. It's really good. Solid. But yeah, that's all I got. Have a good one, Rabbi.
All right, bro. Have a happy Sabbath. Jolly good Sabbath. That's how they say it in England. Like Jolly Sabbath, right? They say jolly good. Yeah, it's something like that. I was in Golders Green once, which is, not so from the modern Orthodox part of London. Moishe, this is nice. Usmachta. Dímelo cantando. Hola, people. Oye, people. ¿Qué bola? Yo, ¿cómo tú estás?
There was a guy asking for Matthew 15, but I don't know what it says.
Yeah, I don't know what Matthew. I mean, it's not that type of show. Like you'd have to like read it, and then I'll give you a commentary on it.
The whole chapter is like.
I was thinking of writing a commentary of the New Testament. You know, from a. Yeah, but that's like me trusting a secular guy to tell me anything about Judaism.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It's the same.
Well, that's advice that I give to myself. I'm not saying that, I'm going to tell it to a Christian not to buy my book. But I would be honest. I mean, I think I have a reputation because I'm religious, even though I'm not part of their religion. Right? I mean, there was a Catholic here, for example, the people in charge of the Dead Sea Scrolls. I think apart from what's in the shrine of the book, it was the Catholic Church, I believe. The Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So yeah, it shows that I trust. I mean, I don't trust Muslims. You know, Muslims that that when they excavate areas of the Kotel and the Kotel tunnels, they purposely destroy, artifacts. They're known for doing this.
Yeah.
But,
it doesn't fit their narrative, so they do it.
Yeah. No, this is lotisa. Like, don't take God's, don't misrepresent God, right? Don't do evil in God's name. This is why I'm not married to Judaism. I've been Jewish long enough that I don't think I'm going anywhere. But the idea that it's like Judaism right or wrong, nah. Like if Judaism told me to do something wrong, I'll be like, no, thank you, right? I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. But I won't do that.
Yeah, but you're not a Muslim.
I'm not. No, that's what I mean. See, they would though, because if you ask a Muslim what is truth, they'll say the Quran is truth, right? Meaning that they don't value honesty as a value. Truth exists, whether the Torah or the Quran agree with it. Truth and goodness exist. Now, I believe that it exists on a very elementary level. I believe the Torah is there to polish you up. I don't think the Torah is there to make you good. I believe the Torah is there to make you better. Because if you're a crappy person and you come to Torah, your Torah is going to look crappy. But if you're a decent person and you come to Torah, you're going to shine that much more. Right? We all know crappy, you know what we're talking about. I'm not talking about one in particular, but I mean, like in general, there's the Ramban makes a famous statement that you could keep like all of Torah Shabbat and still be a crappy person. I don't know how Kedoshim Tiyu falls into that, but yeah, because we have a commandment to be holy also. So by that should tell you no jerks allowed.
If if you practice all, if you fulfill all the mitzvot that are like visible, but you still are. The best example is this. I can talk lashon hara about non-Jews, but not about Jews.
Yeah, but that's not a halacha. I mean, whoever said.
That's the best example.
Oh, according to the Havetz, there's no serious rabbi, and if he made that statement, I'm not even sure if he did. He's not a serious rabbi. The idea that you could speak lashon hara on anybody, right, is a stupid idea. You know, it's a stupid idea. Now, especially like if you interpret lashon hara as things that are not true, and I know that he doesn't, but still, whether it's true or not, it's stupid. There's for sure in the Talmud it does not say that you're allowed to lie or to misrepresent or to expose secrets of Gentiles. Why would it say that? Like, and why would God? Why would it say that? It sounds so stupid. This is why, I mean, Rabbi Littman said, I could call you what I want because I don't consider you Jewish. First of all, only Baal Teshuvos make this argument. Only Baal Teshuvos say, well, I don't consider you.
Said that you can steal money from non-Jews, but you will never see any benefit from it. That, right? So Chazal say that you don't have to return lost items to Gentiles when they're idolatrous. Like candles, you don't have to sell them, but it's not that you can like just take their crap. I've never heard of that stuff. It's like if that existed, it would be quoted all the time. And it just doesn't exist. Now there's weirder things that's like if you're gonna do evil, like go to another city. It says go to another city, change your clothes, and dress in black. Right? You heard about this? Yeah. People, we don't whitewash anything here, okay? We present Judaism, warts and all, and we still believe Judaism is superior, which is such a sophisticated idea. The idea that you could only promote your religion unless it's without error, and I don't know how anyone. Torah itself is like that.
Yeah, Torah, it's like.
It tells you the errors of Moshe, the errors of everybody.
That's it. I don't want dyed hair. I want to see stretch marks. I want, Con chancleta, just give it to me raw, Papa. Give it to me raw.
Give it to me raw.
That's it.
I mean, it is what it is.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó, Rabbi?
Dímelo, tigre, plátano. Buenaventura su caballo. Привет, товарищ.
How are you?
Slava Bogu. Хорошо.
Does your wife talk to you in Russian? How's your Russian?
I work with Russians all day. Well, Ukrainians, but whatever. I guess there's a difference now. Like if you call Ukrainian or Russian, he gets pissed off. I went up to Ukrainian and I said, "You're privyet." He was like, "It's not privyet, it's you're privat," right? I mean, Ukrainian is slightly different than Russian. But anyways, I side with Putin over Zelensky.
Really?
Yeah, I have a whole video explaining my politics. I have a whole political channel like on TikTok. It's called Patriot Problem. And I just talk about politics.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't uploaded in like 4 or 5 months. Yeah, no, I support Putin over Ukraine. All right.
He's a Jew.
What?
He's a Jew.
Yeah, he's a secular Jew. I mean, Putin is more Jew-friendly than this guy ever was. Like, Putin has been very friendly to Chabad in Russia, very friendly, because he was like a Shabbos guy in the beginning, and like he was. I don't think he was a Shabbos guy, but he was let in. Like he lived with Jewish people who took him in. Like when he was very whatever. Also, like the Laser family in Russia, which is Lubavitch, like the main Lubavitch family, had close ties to him when he was young, and since then he's always been nice to them. Come on. I mean, Zelensky's a Jewish guy. Azov here, which is the Yahtzee like segment of the Ukrainian army, is blatantly anti-Jewish. But anyways, that being said, all right. So what's the topic? Let's see. Erev Shabbos.
Shabbos was where 25.
Yeah. I remember I lived in Colorado for 3 years. I love Colorado. I love Denver. I love Vail. Vail is probably like my.
Man, you've been all over the map.
Yeah. Because I've always worked from home. I'm an IT guy. So, like, Denver is awesome. The Jewish community sort of sucks, but it's beautiful. Like, and Vail's out of this freaking world. There's a Chabad in Vail. I remember, this is before, 420. But even, like, by that time, everybody used to smoke out there, even from people. And then when they'd come to Shabbos, they'd carry drops with them, like THC drops. Like just so on Shabbos, because you can't smoke on Shabbos, but you could take the drops. I guess you could take edibles too. I guess the drops are.
Right.
I don't know what's the difference. Whatever. Why?
The winters are brutal there, aren't they?
There's a what?
The winters are brutal.
No. So, like Denver's not. It's because it's such a. It's so elevated that when it snows, like the snow doesn't last 24 hours. I mean, it has a very.
I got a brother-in-law that lives there, and I get pictures of. Oh my God, he still gets snow here and there.
Yeah. So no, yeah, it snows, but it's not like Montana. Yeah, no, I love Colorado. Welcome, Red Dawn.
There are no black people in Colorado, right?
That's true. It's rare. In Boston, I was just in Boston last week. No black folks in Boston. I don't know where the heck everybody is. It's not because of the cold, because I mean it's 3 hours from New York. There's no black folks in Portland or in Seattle.
Y'all better come down to Florida, man. We have a lot of good Chabads down here.
Oh, I'm in Florida. Where in Florida are you?
Oh, you are? Okay. I'm in the Orlando area right now, but I'm from South Florida originally.
Yeah, no, I live in South Florida, Orlando. Like, are you part of the Jewish community there?
Yeah, I'm actually. I live in I'm not going to name the exact place, but I live in a small area outside of Orlando, and we have a Chabad here.
So I lived in Orlando for 6 months, and the shul.
So add it to the list.
They just opened a brand new UCF Chabad.
So, there's a few. I mean, Chabad controls Orlando, but the Litvish community that used to be there, I don't even know is there anymore. That was in Dr. Phillips.
Wait, the Chabad shul is the one that is by the OBT, right?
No, OBT is the ghetto, bro. I mean, that's where all the hookers stand.
The street. No, this is off of Alafaya Trail. The new Chabad is right off of Alafaya, in between University and Colonial.
Yeah, so that's the one by UCF. So
there's one a little bit further out, by where I live. It's a small, it's like Chabad, like Beit Chabad. It's literally like a house, and the rabbi is a great guy. His wife's an amazing lady, and yeah, we just it's very easy to access a Jewish community here.
Yeah,
it's nice.
So Dr. Phillips was the community where I used to daven in, which is where the Winn-Dixie, the kosher Winn-Dixie, and Sanctuary. I think there's it's also near there, and there's a Chabad there, and there was a shul in a house, it was called Merkaz. Was it like Merkaz Torah?
This is a party one.
No, it was the Ashkenazi. It was, put together by students at Chafetz Chaim. It was Yachnis, like the Yachnis family.
Oh my God!
You're surprised? That whole beef with them, whatever.
Are you familiar with the Dubovs?
The who?
D-U-B-O-B?
No.
Okay, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them around.
Was you from South Florida originally?
Yeah, I grew up in Coral Springs.
Coral Springs. That's like ghetto-y now. Yeah. It's ghetto-y. It's ghetto-y.
No, not when not even still. I mean, look, there's parts of Coral Springs that have unfortunately gotten a little bit ghetto, but even the area where I grew up is still very nice.
I'm off of Griffin Road, like in the Israeli neighborhood. You know Hollywood?
You're closer to I know you're in Hollywood area.
Yeah, Hollywood. Yeah, no, this is a community B. This is like 30
stories. Rabbi Speed?
Who?
Rabbi Speed Lipsker.
Oh, Lipsker, yeah, but he's from Bal Harbor, you mean?
He actually, I don't want to say where he lives. You know how this thing goes here on this app, and then we got to be careful. But
they could Google
I met him in Hollywood, and he gave me a message for a very nice one, by the way, for my house. And he's a great guy. I met him in Ventura at Sarah's tent, actually.
Sarah's is a huge supermarket.
I got that picture with him, and yeah, he's a great guy. He's giving me a lot of advice with some things I'm doing right now.
All right, what do you do for a living, Red Dawn?
I do sales. I sell solar panels. Houses.
Like a Jewish profession. All right. Interesting.
Actually, just door.
Yeah, Florida's the place for solar panels.
Oh yeah.
The market's too saturated. Too many people selling
It's
it.
also there's to go door to door in Florida, it can be challenging because of the Spanish communities, because not all of them speak English, but I think we need some Spanish.
You don't speak Spanish?
Yo hablo español, sí.
Y yo también.
I lived in Israel 10 years, so I know Hebrew too.
Oh yeah, where in Israel? Where in Israel?
Well, I started off living. I was living in Kibbutz Suba when I made Aliyah.
Kibbutz Suba? Is that like a secular kibbutz?
Suba is by Meza Zion.
Oh, I know Meza very well. There's a Kentucky Fried Chicken there.
Yeah, there's the whole mall. You have the mall there.
Yeah. No, like I started an airsoft group, like when I lived in Yerushalayim, in the forest of Mevaseret. Because Mevaseret is like 20 minutes from Jerusalem. It's near.
You know about that big abandoned building that's over there?
I think it's in the Judean forest. It's on the other side of like Modin. But yeah, so,
you've seen that big abandoned. I think it was like they were building like an old folks home or something, and it just stopped midway.
I don't know.
And we used to camp out there. It was the creepiest place, to be honest.
So Mevaseret is popular because it has a mall. It has a mall, and there's a McDonald's there and a Kentucky Fried Chicken. And it's on the way to Jerusalem coming from, it depends on which way you're coming back from Tel Aviv. But yeah.
Yeah, and then you go through Abu Ghosh, which is known for some pretty good hummus.
We're also in Israel.
That's where I lived when I was doing Kibbutz Ulpan. And then I came back to the States.
Oh, so you made Aliyah.
Yeah, I came back.
Wait. Why you came back?
What's up?
Why you came back?
So I was living in Tsuba, Kibbutz Ulpan is a 6-month program. While I was living there, I was still within the age to draft them into the IDF, so I got my Tzav Rishon letter in the mail while I was in
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I said, look, I'm going back to America. I'm going to have like a last hurrah, and then I'm coming back to join the army, and that's what I did.
You never got it.
Yeah.
And
Well, so most people who made Aliyah, I made Aliyah, by the way, and then I made Yerida. But I'll tell you why I did it. I say it all the time. It's no secret, but Jews are scared to say it. It's because of Israelis. No.
Oh my God.
Not true, Rabbi. I want to make Aliyah so badly because I get along with Israelis very well.
Here, say it again, Radan.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Radan. Say it
I
again.
love Israelis. They're great people.
But
I've met so many Israelis that were, when they knew I was a lone soldier in the IDF, and when I would tell them this, I mean, I had random people at like Shufersal offering to like, oh, can I buy you anything for your place? At the time when I was in the army, I lived in Kibbutz Yilron at the top of the country near Lebanon. And I had this lady who bought me like a panini press. I had this guy who wanted to do something nice for a lone soldier. He was a very rich businessman in Tel Aviv. He bought me a TV. They're very amazing people, man. They can be very direct, and they can be jerks too, you know?
So I would say, I don't know. I mean, some people call this like speaking Lashon Hara on Eretz Yisrael. But we have to let people know that if you're going to make Aliyah, there are going to be some obstacles. So like if you make Aliyah as a married person, it's quite difficult to deal with Israelis and Mizrat Panim and any government office. Forget about it. I mean, you're going to fight and yell. Even the banks, you got to fight and yell. Are there beautiful Israelis? Absolutely. Is it a different experience when you're married and when you're single? It's day and night. Okay, because when you're single, I mean, you can sleep in people's
when you're married, just out of curiosity.
What? I'm sorry?
What makes it tough when you're married, out of curiosity? Because I'm now married, and I was...
You have to make a living. You have to make a living and support a wife. That's what makes it hard. All right, when you're single, you can sleep. I mean, religious people...
But that's everywhere, Rabbi.
No, yeah, right. That's what I mean. Well, I mean, it's like that there's more opportunity in America. I'm telling you why people leave Israel. Why people make...
That's why I left Israel.
Yes, because you can't make a living. As an American, you could, but your standard of living would drop so much. Right? And, I mean, I knew lawyers and doctors go to Israel and they're cleaning toilets. It's just because they have an excess of hyper-educated people. So it's hard. Now, if you're going to Israel from Russia or like from a place that has a lower standard of living, then you're never going to leave Israel. However, but for an American who has options, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. Now, I worked for American companies because I'm in IT, so I was a lucky one. I mean, and I did. Well, I mean, I also did the Opan. I mean, kibbutz Opan is not part of the like the free Opan, right? I mean, because kibbutz Opan is like kibbutz conversion. Like you have to pay for it. Huh?
No, it's provided with the Miskat.
You know, because they give you 6 months Opan, you know, but I don't know. It wasn't.
No, what you do is you work one day, you do Opan the next day. It's like a on-off day off.
You know, there's kibbutz conversion, and most people don't know this. There's kibbutz Aliyah and kibbutz Yavne. There aren't too many like religious kibbutzim, but the religious ones offer a conversion program that you work half the day and you learn half the day. And yeah. Anyways,
did you have a problem assimilating, or was it?
Yeah, of course I did. Well, like my issue is that I only stayed with Americans. So that almost guarantees that you're never going to fully assimilate, because I worked in the religious world. That means all the IT companies.
So you didn't do that, yes.
I'm sorry? Oh, no. I made Aliyah after I was 26.
Did you ever serve?
Yes, I was in the U.S. Army.
Okay, because if you want... Oh, okay, cool. God bless you.
Yeah,
no, if you go to the IDF, it gets to a point where you you have to assimilate to Israeli culture.
Yeah, so I tried to...
There's not enough Americans there to just blend in with the Americans.
Because I lived in the settlements. I lived in this place called Kohava Shachar. I wanted to become a Magavnik because you could do it and be married. So I was like 27 when I was there. So they told me that I could do the IDF, but then I'd have to commit, like for 3 years. But I was married with the daughter already, so I mean it didn't make sense. But my Hebrew wasn't good enough. I mean, for Magav. But what was I gonna say?
Well, typically Magav, they want you to have an Arabic background too.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, so Magavniks are the people who wear like the gray uniform. For those who don't know, like, and they're like the
Mishmar HaGivul. They're the border police.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had an amazing Mishmar HaGvul. We had October 7th.
They're a paramilitary parapolice.
Top-notch security.
No, they're saying that it was probably these leftists that let him in. You know, most people aren't talking about this much. With that the kibbutzim, like near Gaza, are like communist kibbutzim. Like they're extremely left wing, and they park outside of the border of Gaza, and they bring like Arabs over to Israeli hospitals, and they're saying like maybe they let them in, or they like cut a hole, thinking like, hey, I'm gonna help you expand the borders of Gaza, and then they got killed also. But there's a big disconnect in Israel that many people who don't know think that all Israelis are united. It's nonsense. It's a lot of division in Israel. Anyways, that being said, I support the state of Israel. Just like a little disclaimer.
Oh yeah, before October 7th, there was nothing but division with all the riots and about the court system and Netanyahu and.
Oh, that's right. The Supreme Court system.
Yeah.
Trying to change it because it's like leftist, and they kind of. I was in Israel on October 7th. I arrived October 6th. I'm telling you, these guys destroyed my vacation. I was in Jerusalem. Shabbos morning, I heard like the buzzer, like the Shabbos buzzer, right? And I guess they use it for the rockets also. I'm like, what's this? It's like Shabbos morning. Why is it buzzing? And then at the Shabbos table, they told me that there was like a pagua or something. Like no one could have assumed the extent of this. Because this is. Hold on. Hold on. Hello? All right. Wrong number, guys. Wrong number. Huh? Yeah. So then,
your own Reuven calling you.
Yeah, he's my neighbor. He's not too far. Yeah. So I spent 2 weeks in Israel. Everything closed. Eating at the same shawarma place. And yeah, there you go. Who's gonna pay for my vacation, Hamas? I'm kidding. Never.
Did you see that video of the Druze? They pretended to be in an ambulance going towards a car accident, and the soldier was like, "Show me your ID, show me your ID," and they're like, "We got no time. We got to go to this car accident." He's like, "You know what? Open up the trunk." And this was an ambulance. He opened up the trunk of the ambulance. There was like 4 Palestinians there hiding under the.
It makes no sense. I mean, Druzim are like pro-Israel.
Yeah, they used one Druze, and then he said he started cursing the Arabs. He's like, I can't believe they got me into this, and
They tricked.
The soldier goes to him, my friend, your life is over.
There's no more hardcore. There's no one more hardcore in the IDF than Druzim. They have no, the Druze are an extension of Islam. It's an extension of Sufi Islam, right? The Quran is a holy book for them, as well as many other books, right? And they'll unalive themselves alongside Israeli soldiers because they're so grateful for the state of Israel, like giving them a great place to live, right? That's like real crap. You know what I mean? I mean that's like real. This notion of okay,
it was amazing to see that body camera footage.
Look, I've heard a Druze on a live before. It was all Israelis and they were speaking Hebrew. This guy, and in a way, I completely agree with him. He was so up in arms about the way Israel's handled this. He was basically condoning just leveling it in one day, and you can kind of understand his point of view because he's, they're Arabs.
But the vast majority, like of Druzim, don't live in Israel, but they live in Syria and Lebanon.
And the thing about them is they are loyal to whatever country they live in, so they will fight each other actually before they'll.
So the Druze in Lebanon are very anti-Israel. I mean, really, they should be anti the Muslims in Lebanon because when the Muslims in Lebanon destroyed Lebanon, it was much better when it was Christian. And same with the Druze in Syria. And they have no communication with the Druze in Israel. One of the places I went when I was there for Sukkot was the kever of Nabi Shweib. So Nabi Shweib is Yitro, and it's by Haifa. It's near Tiberia. It's 20 minutes from Tiberia, and it's the holiest site in the world, for the Druze people. And funny. I thought I'd see some Hasidim there, but I didn't see anybody. It was quite empty, but Yitro is important to us also.
Wait, why will Hasidim will go there?
Talking about what is Jethro in English?
Jethro.
Jethro.
Who's buried there?
Well, according to their tradition, he's buried there. But the truth is, according to the Druze tradition. Yeah, Druzim, that's their holiest site. It's near Tiberia. Most of them live in that area.
But wasn't Jethro's Moses' father-in-law?
Right, father-in-law. Yeah.
So how did he make it into Israel? Moses himself didn't.
I don't think it's really. I don't think that any the Kivrei Tzadikim are the actual Tzadikim. Okay, people who are praying in these graves are praying. To a dead Arab. The truth be told, that with the Arizal was the one who declared the majority of the graves in Israel. He walked, in particular in Tzfat. If you've ever been to the old city at Tzfat, and there's that big platform for Kohanim, so they don't have to actually step in the area. The Arizal started walking around on the Ruach HaKodesh. He was saying, this Tana is buried here, this Amar is buried here. There's no proof of it. There's no proof. And you have people, prostrating on top of the kever, and they don't even know who's buried there, only because of the Arizal. The reason people daven at the Kotel is because of the Arizal. There are many places near the Kotel that are closer to the Holy of Holies than the Western Wall. There's a medrash that says that there's a spot in the old city. We call it the old city. It was Jerusalem at the time. There's one spot in Jerusalem where you pray that God answers all your prayer. And the Arizal was walking, and he pointed to what we call the Western Wall Plaza nowadays, and he said that's that spot. And because of that, everyone prays there. Because anyone who's taken the tunnel tours.
Wait, but the Talmud says that the Shekhinah never departed from the Kotel Maravi. So.
Oh no! Well, that's a debate. I think the Rambam says there's no kedusha there. I think the Ravid says it is, or vice versa. So some people say that you could go up on the Har Bayit. Some people say you can't. I went on, by the way. You could go early in the morning.
The Rambam went.
Did he go? Is that
yeah, he go. There is a letter. I don't remember which one that says. I think it's to the Yemenites.
So there's tunnel tours. There's a Kotel tunnel tours that they take you under, and it brings you much, much closer. If you really wanted to daven close to the
Holy of the Holies. Yes.
Yeah, so it's not the Kotel, and it's dangerous also too. Sometimes when they throw rocks, from Al-Aqsa, and they land right there on people's heads.
If that happened to me, God strike me dead on the Kotel, then for me that would be a good place too.
Wow, you're so pious.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
that,
if I'm gonna go anywhere, I want to go there. Where
you have to daven with like, I don't know, like a helmet on. Yeah, no, but it's nicer to daven inside. You know, like the air conditioned part. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get going though, guys. Shabbat shalom. I gotta do some stuff to get ready here. Alrighty. Okay, tada.
This is a show about nothing. And we talk. I'm a database of useless information, essentially. But
where is that? Where is that thing about the Arisa pointing to the grave? Where do you read that?
Okay, I mean, I listen to a lot of shiurim. So there's a medrash that there's one spot in Yerushalayim that God answers all your prayers, and it was supposedly that spot. People have been praying at that spot. Don't forget the wall.
No. What I mean is like the Arisa was going around pointing to the graves. Like this, here's this Amora. There's.
Oh, that's a fact. That's. I mean, they'll tell you. How do we know that this Tana is buried here, like mainly in the north, because the Arizal lived in Sfat? I mean, the Arizal was actually half Ashkenazi, half Sephardi. Most people don't know. Do you know why we call him the Arizal?
Because the Ari, the Aliyah, or whatever.
No. But most people don't know, because what's the acronym?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Ha-Eloki. They call him Ha-Eloki, which means basically the divine. It literally means the divine. I mean, like to defend it, they'll be like, oh, I mean, back then that meant the
Eloki. Yeah, but what is the karma means? It's not the Eloki.
Yeah, Ha-Arizal, right?
No, what is the Resh?
Ha-Eloki. No. It starts off. His name is Rabbi Yitzhak Luria, right? I mean, Yitzhak Luria. Right, so it's Ha-Eloki, Yitzhak Luria.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Right, and Rabbi, yeah. Anyways, look it up. I'm not making this crap up. It's,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they hate. Okay, got it. Okay,
no.
Yitzhak Luria.
Yeah, it's problematic if the average person knew.
I mean, yeah, we also call Moshe Isha Elokim.
Yeah, well, I mean, God himself is called Ish Milchama, you know? So there's heresy to go around everywhere, you know?
No, but a person with the title of God beside him, like Moshe is Elohim. We don't think Moshe was God. It's a man of God.
You know, like if we had a grave to pray to, then maybe, you know, we're here. No, but there's a spot now, and the Chumash tells us that but the reason God buried Moshe Rabbeinu, the understanding, I think it's a commentary on it, it's because they didn't want them to build like an ohel on it, and then people pray to Moshe Rabbeinu. But there's a spot today where they say that Moshe Rabbeinu was buried. It's just like the Rambam. Like, you know, there's two kevers for the Rambam. But there's a kever.
Right. The one that is in front of the,
Tiberia.
Whatever, yeah.
Right. I mean, near the Sea of Galilee.
Right.
And there's supposedly one in Egypt. Because I think
it's like the Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai has one in Iraq and another in Harshas 18. Yeah. You know that story, right? The story is that one day one guy was had a dream, went to Harshas 18 in the dream, and he saw a hole there, and the Ben Ish Chai said, like, okay, you need to buy this place for me. He bought a place, and the next day there was what we have today. So he moved himself from Iraq to Harshas 18.
Rabbi Asher, can I ask you a question? What is the importance, or how is the importance of being buried in Judaism versus cremation? I have somebody close that plans on being cremated, and I say, the least you could do, I said, is do not do that, because they do not follow anything or do anything.
This is an interesting question. Now, the average person would be like, it's not interesting, it's easy. Like, I mean, Jews don't cremate themselves. But, I mean, don't they? I mean, do they not cremate themselves? Well, so we have a mitzvah of kavura. So kavura is that to be buried, you know, bakarka, like in the ground. But it's not technically in the ground. It could be in the side of a mountain, too. Because don't forget, I mean, the tombs were what? I mean, they were in the side of the mountain when Then when the tomb of Jesus is like stone rolled by, right? I mean, people were buried in the mountain. This is a common thing because that's also Bakarcha. Like it's in the ground, but it could be vertical or horizontal. The question is, if for some reason you died in a fiery car crash or something, and all there was ashes, could you fulfill the mitzvah by burying the ashes? Technically, I've checked for a prohibition on cremation, and I mean it may appear in the Rambam, I think, but it doesn't appear in the Talmud. It talks, I think, it compares it to like hukas hakum, like this is what Gentiles do, but it's not an actual prohibition, like an actual prohibition. It seems heretical, guys. Trust but verify. But I don't think there's an actual prohibition. It may not be the Jewish thing to do.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm bringing this up because I think one of the big rabbis, it could be Manis Freeman or somebody else, I'm not
People
sure.
prohibit everything nowadays.
They brought up the very importance of returning to
okay. So that's Kabbalah, by the way. Yes, according to Kabbalah, it's prohibited. And even there's some Kabbalists that bring up the luz bone. So the luz bone is this bone, which is like make-believe, by the way, because it does burn. But there's a bone in the back of your head that supposedly is indestructible. Bullcrap, right? That even if everything gets destroyed, God could recreate your goof from that little bone. I don't believe it. So this is why they
That's
think.
why you put your tefillin sharash.
Right. Right. Yeah. Back. No, it's in the back. Right. I mean the knots.
Yeah. That bone, that protuberance. I don't know how you call it.
The idea that Techiyat Meitim is going to in some way affect halakha, because this is why people are buried in Har HaZeitim, because it's proximity to the Har HaBayit. The Kabbalah teaches that you're going to tunnel from your actual grave to Yerushalayim. Right? I mean, Yerushalayim at the time is what we call the old city today, by the way, but it wasn't the whole city of Jerusalem. And because of that, like people there don't even get buried in boxes, right? I mean, they bury you right into the ground, lest you mess up your nails, like having to like dig through the box. But it's only from the research I've done, and I may be wrong. It's only Kabbalah that prohibits it. It's not. I'm not saying that we have evidence of people being burned, but it would solve a lot of problems because in Yerushalayim there's a lack of real estate. That we're running out of spots to bury people in. The Mount of Olives, forget about it; it's full. I mean, there's no other place. That's
you're buried in levels, right?
Right, and it's just this prime real estate.
The only problem that I have with that is that we have a punishment that is by fire, and how do we, burn a body? It looks like we're punishing the body.
Oh, yeah, but they're dead already.
Yeah, they're dead.
And when they're alive.
I know, but the only
optics, it looks weird. I don't know. I went to India. I go to India every year for 3 weeks, and I went to Varanasi. So Varanasi is the holiest spot in India, but that's where the Ganga is, like the Ganges River.
Yeah, they burned them in there.
So the reason I went is because I was curious about something. You ever pass by a barbecue, right? And your mouth starts to water?
Oh God! Oh no!
It's on my channel, by the way. I'm like this, and there's a body burning behind me. So truth be told, it didn't smell like a barbecue. I mean, I didn't get a watery mouth, but they put so much incense on the body that all you smell is burnt incense. Okay, So that being said, like my experiment failed.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you cease to do mitzvot after you die? The minute you die, is the mitzvah train over?
Oh, man. What kind of question is that?
That is a question. Now, so now you said there's a mitzvah for to be buried, right?
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't take your question seriously. According to Kabbalah, no, you don't cease because people can do mitzvot in your behalf, according to Kabbalah. And this is the whole notion of an Aliyah's neshama. Every time you say Kaddish for a dead relative, it's basically you doing a mitzvah in their behalf and then getting them out of Gehinnom. I don't believe in this, but there's people that I learned in Aish. I was in Aish in the old city, and there's rich people who are religious but don't have a religious family who will make a big endowment. They'll give a big donation to the yeshiva for the Bachrim to say Kaddish in their behalf after they die. So what? So they can get, out of Gehenna. If that's not indulgences, I don't know what is. So the Kabbalistic answer is yes. The Torah answer is no.
So what you're saying, Kaddish is not according to the Torah?
Kaddish Yatum, the mourner's Kaddish, is not according to the Torah. Like, not when it's dealing with a dead body, it's not. Kaddish, like in Halakha, is Kaddish de Rabbanan. Whenever you utter words of Torah, you have to end, you have to say, like the rabbi's Kaddish. I think it's the Or Zarua who introduced saying Kaddish in behalf of the dead. You say Kaddish at the grave, but that's the only time you're supposed to say Kaddish, and it's because you're essentially davening. It's not for the dead. The story appears in the Talmud, but it has nothing to do with Kaddish. But there's a story that Rabbi Akiva is walking down like a cemetery, and there's a legend that the fires of Gehinnom are turned off on Shabbat, but they let people out just to hang out. I don't know, whatever. So then Rabbi Akiva saw this guy with blackface on, right? His face is all burnt. And he says, who the heck are you? And he says, I'm so-and-so. I've been burning in Gehinnom for the last 6 days. Every week they let us out. But for me, my punishment is so severe because my family doesn't say words of Torah in my behalf. So he's pleading with Rabbi Akiva to reach out to his relatives, or I believe his son, to say words of Torah, I guess possibly do mitzvot, like in his merit. This is in the Gemara. The same story appears in the Zohar. This is the source of saying Kaddish for dead people. It has nothing to do with Kaddish, by the way. Now, Kaddish would count also, I guess, right? It's what we call the Varshabet Dusha. Like words that, I guess, whatever, you need a minion for because there's extra special words to say. And this is why we have the mourner's Kaddish today. The reason people go to shul nowadays is for Kaddish. Don't let them fool you, okay? Because somebody has to say Kaddish, okay? And traditionally, I think some Sephardi shuls still do this. The Avel is the one who's supposed to be davening for the Amud. Like the mourner is the one who's supposed to be leading the service and saying Kaddish. Not everyone, like one saying Kaddish for everyone else, by the way.
Yes.
But this is why I teach the Kabbalists have reinvented the reason to remain Jewish. The reason they go to shul is to say Kabbalah Shabbos nowadays, when no one said Kabbalah Shabbos before, right? It was actually dangerous to stay out late. This is why we sing Shalom Aleichem, by the way. The reason we sing Shalom Aleichem is that we're praying to angels to protect us on the way home from shul, because it says it's
three angels.
Right, it's a sakana because the demons come out at night. You know that song, The Freaks Come Out at Night? Well, freaks are demons, and you shade them in Judaism. And they protect you on the way home. So you're pleading with them. You're beseeching with angels. Watch my back. You got my back.
And once you get home, you say leave.
Yeah. Like, don't stay. You don't have to go home, but you don't have to stay here. or you can't stay here. Right? There's a story of some guy in a Jewish neighborhood that while people were davening in shul Saturday mornings, like he'd go into their house and eat their cholent. You heard about this?
No.
I don't know. Whatever. And lock your houses.
Lock your houses.
And
get a gun.
Get a gun. Every Jew at 22. You know the story of every Jew at 22?
Yeah. What is it?
So, Ramosha Feinstein, in I guess it was the 80s or 70s. I think it was the 70s. Jews in New York that were getting mugged on Shabbos, right? Which is kind of like, it's the dumbest. You live in a Jewish area. I get it, right? You're Puerto Rican or black, whatever. You live in a Jewish area. You should know Jews don't carry money on Shabbos.
Right.
So they will pull out the knife or the gun and say, give me your money. And they're like, I don't carry money on the Sabbath. And they're like, I don't believe you. So they stab the guy and take his money.
What about jewelry? Don't they dress up on Shabbos?
Not from Jews. From Jews don't wear jewelry. Huh?
Yeah, that's true.
Take his shoes, take his Borsalino or Strimel. You know how much a Strimel costs? It's not cheap. Although you could get them on eBay. You could get Bekishas. You know, like Rechels, Bekisha Strimels on eBay, super cheap. Anyways, so Rav Moshe Feinstein said that every Jew should walk around, I believe it's with a $20 bill in his sock on Shabbos, right? There are many creative ways to carry on Shabbos, by the way. I mean, the whole Shabbos belt thing is just one idea. But if someone really wanted to put their mind to it, right, and you could come out with like a Shabbos vest, Shabbos underwear. The sky's the limit, guys. So anyways, that when Meir Kahana heard this, his response was that, what a stupid ruling. Every Jew at 22. That, yes, Pekuach Nefesh, from that perspective, you could carry a gun on Shabbos. Like if you guys are getting mugged. Also, Rabbi Yeshua Neuwirth in Hilchos Shabbos Kehilchasa writes that it's perfectly allowed for a Jew to carry a gun on Shabbos. It's like equivalent to carrying a kiddush. Also, Rav Shlomo Goren also said it's allowed to carry a gun on Shabbos.
But we cannot carry a shofar in the Shabbat. That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, if you have some...
See, you keep mentioning this rabbi said we could, that rabbi said we could. I'm all about, I don't care what the rabbis say. I want to know what the Torah says.
All right, so the Gemara says that that you could wear armor on Shabbos as long as it's, let me see, what's the argument? Like, if it's like a decoration, then you can't. But for sure, if your life's in danger, you can break Shabbos fully. I mean, it's not even...
well, you don't know if your life is in,
Yeah, here Joseph in the YouTube chat is saying that a 22 is not much. It's true. It's kind of like a pimp's gun,
This is something.
So yeah, every Jew at 22.
So basically, in Judaism, you have ways of outsmarting God with these. Because I have a friend who just got a job doing hard loans, right? And I'm like, well, what if you have a Jewish customer? How do you lend them money with interest when you're not allowed? And that goes with the going around pretending that it's not interest, it's dividends, they call it other things and what have you, trying to outsmart God. And then he gives me an example. Well, the IRS also, you're not allowed to do certain things, but you go around it according to the laws, just like rich people, like, don't pay taxes.
I'll give you like another workaround, like another heter. So I'm a network admin. I'm an IT guy. And in Jerusalem, I work for Aish also, like they're, so when they asked me, look, like, can you install like Photoshop on our computers? But I mean, I think it was Rav Noach Weinberg, like gave them a heter. He's saying that if it's not the latest version, well, then you're allowed to use pirated software. You heard about it?
Oh, God.
It's true. Like if it's an older version of Photoshop, then you could use it, but you can't pirate software from the newest version. I mean, Photoshop's not cheap, by the way. And this was in the early 2000s. So it was like Photoshop 7 by that time. But there you go. In terms of ribbis, like interest, charging interest is such a beautiful thing. It's such a blessing to be able to.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and it's illegal in Islam as well.
It's not
in Islam. It's completely not allowed.
No, it's not true. This is why.
It's very true.
It's not a coincidence that you guys are here. Jesus put you here. I want you to put one hand on the screen and one hand on your wallet because God's going to bless your finances. Right? I'm kidding. All right.
In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Moses, Musa Rasulullah. Anyways, so lending money is such a blessing. The idea that you could borrow someone else's money, build wealth, and have the honor of repaying it, how could that ever be prohibited? So then ribbis has to be price gouging. It cannot be just the act of borrowing money, and Muslims do it also. If you go to Dubai today and you try to finance an apartment, a Bugatti, whatever, they offer you financing because Islam, at least, any type of Islamic country understands that financing is not usury.
Wasn't there a Muslim here debating you about this?
Yeah, and there were other Muslims who agree. You go to Pakistan, you go to Dubai, they offer you loans. Islamic republics offer loans.
But what does the Quran say? No,
Muslim, they don't interpret that. They consider, usury for them ultimately is price gouging. basically ripping people off, lying to people, right? But in agreement, loan me this and I'm going to pay you double back. There's nothing dishonest about it. The idea that God would be against it is silly. Okay, what God is against is actual usury, price gouging, lying to people, the fine print. Every negative stereotype.
You're saying taking advantage and things like that.
Yeah, there's no way that God that ribis actually means that whether you can't finance a home. It makes absolutely no sense. This country is built off the whole.
So look at credit card companies. Yeah. They're lending money to at high interest rates to people who can't pay it, so and yet they tend to bury themselves into more debt. That's what I see that the Quran and the Torah sees it that way. So that it does harm.
So this is why Lashon Hora doesn't appear in the Torah, because some things are left up to common sense. The whole notion, we have so much built on Lashon Hora. The phrase doesn't even appear in the Torah. It's not to be a rechel, like rechilut. It just says don't speak gossip. Okay. The idea that the Torah has to tell you that of course you could loan money. Everything's a gamble. Marriage is a gamble, right? As long as you're honest and you're transparent of how the person's going to pay it back, that for sure must be allowed, right? It must be allowed. Ask if in Dubai, if in Pakistan, if in Iran, they finance cars and apartments. Of course,
you have to. There's no way the world can revolve.
They borrow money from the U.S.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So if they're not going to include financing as a part of usury, then they have to acknowledge that we're talking about something else. Okay, we're talking about people ripping each other off. It can't be now. The Prose Bull is a little harder. So Prose Bull is a document, a rabbinic document, because for the Jubilee, all property is supposed to be returned to its original owner. So I think it was Hillel. Who came out with a contract that overrode that. That I'm not even going to try to defend. It's a little harder, right? But being that we don't celebrate the Jubilee nowadays, so it doesn't apply. Right? And that goes with Chetz Mechira and every other things that you can't really respond in 5 minutes. Where'd Moshe go? All right. You know what? We should end on a high note. All right. It's almost Shabbos. Guys, thank you for stopping by. Have a good Shabbos. Oh, wait. Okay, guys. Okay. My challenge to all my Gentile friends out there, this is an opportunity to be like Andrew Tate, to be a real ninja, to get out of your comfort zone. Tomorrow, I want you to go to your local synagogue. 9:45. Dress to impress. Park a block down the road. Leave your cell phone in your car. Don't shake hands with any women. Sit in the men's section. When they stand, you stand. When they sit, you sit. At the end, go up to the rabbi and say, I'm not Jewish. I just love Israel and the Jewish people, blah, blah, blah. Give it a try. Come back and tell me what happens. Every day, we're supposed to do something that scares us, right? We gotta move forward. We have to challenge our whole existence. If you claim to love Torah, to love Israel, but you don't have the guts to walk into a synagogue, take care of it. Okay? Let me know. Walk in. We all have. All converts have to do that in order to convert. Give it a try. That's a challenge, right? That's the whole Donald Trump, walk into the room from way back here. Like you stick your hand out. You're like, Donald Trump, nice to meet you. Be likable, make friends, make connections, and then you'll be one step closer to converting to Judaism. Guys, be gebenched. Have a good Shabbos.
Hey, have a good one, man.
All right, bro. Take it easy, Alon. Rosado.